right, let's launch right into it. So today we are actually transitioning a little bit from recruiting into leadership because they kind of go hand in hand. And, you know, oftentimes somebody says, well, this person worked really, really hard to recruit me, and then as soon as I sign up on the dotted line, like I never heard from them again. And so I think that that's just because we're so focused on recruiting and we're so, you know, it's the next mentality that a lot of times we don't get to build a real solid foundation with our new consultants or new representatives, new team members. So today we're going to be talking about some of the leadership traits that you want to have. These are more kind of personality type traits, more things about, you know, who you are, what you do, what you represent, what you project, and what you bring to the team. Next week, we're going to be going into things that are a little bit more tangible, actual leadership responsibilities. What are you responsible for? And I think the cool thing about the leadership responsibilities is that you're able to see the things that you know you should be doing, but also, you know, making sure that you're doing that with your existing team, with new team members, and to also see and recognize what your upline may be or may not be doing for you. So these next two, to this week and next week, kind of go hand in hand as well, but putting them all together would be pretty overwhelming, so we're doing them one at a time. So this week we're talking about traits. One of my favorite quotes is from Peter Drucker. It says, management is doing things right, leadership is doing the right things. A couple months ago, I asked on our Facebook page, what is the difference between a manager and a leader? And I got unbelievable responses. It was obvious that people like leaders more than managers. It was kind of bad on the management side. But I think there are so many traits that people think of, having had bad managers in the past, that kind of thing, that it gave kind of a negative kind of connotation to it. The thing is, in our business, we have to have both. We have to have management skills and leadership skills. So here we've got, you know, this is the perfect quote that kind of wraps it up as to why you need both. Because management is doing the right things, staying within compliance, doing the things that you know that are fair and just to everybody in the team, that kind of thing. Leadership is doing the right things, knowing the things that are positive and that will move the team forward, not, you know, getting into the cattiness or game playing or anything like that. So you can see just from this quote how you absolutely have to have both sides of the coin to be great at direct sales leadership. So we're going to talk about the top 10 leadership traits. And actually, this comes from an article that I wrote nearly 10 years ago now, when I was at the top of my company. When I just reached the top of my company, the corporate offices asked me to write a report, article, whatever, for the national newsletter. And this was actually the one that I did, as I talked about leadership traits, the top 10 traits of a party plan leader. And the interesting thing is, it hasn't changed. All right, so the first thing, to be a great leader, you have to be a great consultant. First and foremost, you need to love your business. You need to love your products. You need to love doing parties. You need to love hostess coaching. All of the things that make up a really great consultant are required to be a really great leader. If you aren't being a great consultant and not leading by example, it's very difficult to inspire people to do so. You need to have the same struggles. You need to feel the same pressures, you know, all of that kind of stuff to make you genuine and relevant to the team. If you're just kind of sitting up top, you know, with your crown on kind of deal, goodness, sorry about that, then, you know, you're not going to be able to inspire people the way that you want to. A team is always going to look to their leader for how to do their business, for how to run their business. So you want to make sure that first and foremost that you are walking the walk, talking the talk, that you're a great leader as being a great consultant. The next one is to be organized, even if it is organized chaos. So I joke that I wrote the book on organized chaos. Sometimes if you look at my desk, even as type A as I am, if you look at my desk, it looks like a tornado has hit. However, if you would like me to put my hands on anything, I can get to it. And that's kind of what I mean by this. I don't mean that you have to have everything labeled or color-coded, alphabetical, smallest to large, any of that kind of thing. But you need to be able to put your hands on things when you need to have a system that works for you. You need to be organized. You need to not look spastic and stressed out. That is not an attractive leadership trait. Not to mention, you want everybody to want your job. Leadership is about people wanting to do what you do. I always said if I could just find 50 people that did exactly what I did, I would be set. I want people to want my job. This is not corporate America where someone wanting your job puts you out of a job. Somebody wanting your job and striving for your job makes you more successful. So you want people wanting your job. If you look like a stressed out, frazzled, scrambling around all the time mess, nobody's going to want that job and nobody's going to strive to be you. You always want to make sure that people are striving to be you. So be organized. If you have something coming up, get everything ready for it ahead of time. Being organized is 100% a habit. It's a trait, but it is a habit. It is a learned thing. If you are disorganized, if you are always late, if you're always scrambling around, that kind of thing, then first of all, you're in the right place, because that's what Party Plan Divas combats. That's what we go against, trying to get everybody, we want to get everybody organized. But, again, it's a habit. So don't beat yourself up. Just begin making those healthier choices. Number 3 is to only ask of your team what you're willing to do yourself. So this kind of ties into number 1, but I want to go a little bit further in this and just say, if you're telling your team that they need to be holding 2 parties a week, then you need to be probably holding about 2 parties a week. Or at least you have at some point. I consistently held 2 parties a week, every week, 52 weeks a year. I even held them on holiday weeks for years. And so when I encouraged my team to do that, it was kind of twofold. Number 1, I was walking the walk and talking the talk, but I was also showing that it could be done. I was showing that I could be organized, I could have that, all together, doing it, and how fast it would move my business. I was 90% of the time always number 1 in sales, always number 1 in recruiting in our organization. And part of that was because of the consistency of doing those 2 parties a week, so I could encourage my team to do 2 parties a week. I went gardening all the time, increasing my business. I did events all the time, all those kind of things. Thing is, I was not willing to just sit back on my haunches and tell everybody else what to do. That's one of those unliked management skills. You have to be willing to do what you coach your team to do. What I loved is that having the team really motivated me to do so. It was things that I knew that I needed to do, and so having that team and knowing they were looking at me motivated me even more. Number 4 is that you have to be assertive. You have to be willing to make the first move. So, when you're starting out in this business, it can be incredibly intimidating. If you have never been in sales before, you've never talked to strangers before, all those kinds of things, it's very scary. So the new team member is going to be looking to you to help them overcome that anxiety. So be willing to make the first move. I used to love taking my new team members out to lunch because it was always my goal to recruit and or book a party with the waitress before she had even, served our meal kind of thing. Because I wanted to show them how it is done and show them that it really can be simple to talk about your business and to get those bookings and get those new recruits. Think about the first time, if you're a mom, think about the first time that your child maybe went to kindergarten or to preschool or to daycare or whatever. If they were, that age, and you probably saw this, if it wasn't your child, my girls were kind of like, whatever, peace out, mom, go away. But because they're social butterflies like I am. But I saw kids that literally you almost had to peel them off their mama's leg. I call them Velcro babies because they wanted mom. They didn't want to stay. It was scary. That is that same kind of anxiety that you might find with a new consultant. So you have to be that mom that kind of peels them off your leg and says, look, you're going to have so much fun with your new friends, and coaches and whatever. I remember when Taylor went to kindergarten, she got freaked out, even though she had been going to preschool. She got kind of freaked out at how big the classroom was. And so, we went and found her seat, and I looked, and the little girl next to her, and there was the name on the desk, and her name was Sydney. And I said, hi, and I introduced myself, and I shook Sydney's little hand, and I introduced her to Taylor. And, here's the thing, that was 4 years ago. They're still friends. They've been in class all along, but because I was Assertive. I made the first move. I introduced the two little girls, whatever. They, have been friends ever since. So it's kind of the same concept. Number 5 is to be understanding yet firm. So in this business, we have to have a certain level of empathy and understanding. As much as we want people to do 2 parties a week and recruit 2 people a month and all these kind of things, and we even hear them saying that they want to do that, some people are not going to. They're just not. And so we have to have a certain level of understanding. However, you have to stay firm. You have to be able to say, honey, I'm sorry that you didn't reach your goal this month. But it's because you barely left the house. Nobody's knocking on your door to buy stuff. You got to get out there and knock on theirs. You have to have a relationship in order to have these conversations, but you have to be firm. You have to not let people slide. You're the leader. You're the one that says, well, I know that you haven't booked up your calendar, but when was the last time you went gardening? When was the last time you picked up the phone and dialed for, bookings or whatever it may be? Be understanding and say, I understand that you get to work your business, when you want to and all that kind of thing. And we can absolutely be part-time, but you can't be sometime. And say, when you work the business sometime, you get paid sometimes. So you want to always, always, always be able to come back, be understanding, say, I know this isn't a 40-hour whatever job for everybody. But be able to say your actions are not congruent with your goals. So which one are going to change? Because one of them has to change. If your goals are lofty, your activity has to be pretty lofty. If it's not, one of them's got to change. So, but being able to have a relationship where you're able to say that is a part of leadership. So you don't want to let them slide. You want to be able to keep them accountable. Number 6, and this is a biggie and one that I think happens probably too often in the industry, is to dump up, not dump down. When you are having a lousy day, when you are mad at the universe, when you are mad at your corporate office, when you are mad at whatever, a flaky hostess, whatever, nobody should know it. Nobody. If anybody knows it, it should be your upline. The only person that should know it should be your upline. Dumping down, telling somebody who is in your downline, telling other consultant, whatever, not only does it lead to cattiness and gossip and drama, and ladies, we are all way past that, but also it can spread like a cancer. That kind of negativity can spread through your team faster than anything. And suddenly everybody's like, well, of course I'm having a lousy day because, even my leader can't get her stuff together, or whatever. You become their reason for failure. You become their excuse. Don't do that. You always, always, always need to have a smiling face, that everything is going to be okay. Don't sweat it. There is no such thing as a party emergency. And yes, there are things that get frustrating. I have been with companies. One was a company that changed locations. They moved to a different warehouse. They told us it would be down for 2 days. We were down for about 2 months. Things on back order for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. The whole time I joked about it, laughed about it, encouraged everybody. So while I had all these other leaders that had people that were quitting and giving up and throwing in the towel and bashing the company on then what was MySpace and Yahoo groups and all that kind of stuff, my team just didn't have that. We stayed in good contact with our people. We let them know that the reason why it was so far behind was just because they had ordered the best products in the whole world and we couldn't keep up with the demand. That kind of communication, we had no problem. I'm working with a company right now that has some similar stuff going on. And, the thing is, the leaders that are not dumping down or dumping out, dumping whatever, the ones that are just, keeping it together, keeping it real, knowing that this is all temporary, which it always is, they're not struggling near as much as some of the others. So know that there's always going to be something. There's always going to be days that you're down. There's always going to be days that shipping goes haywire, that the website goes haywire, and that the, idiots, whatever, go haywire. It's like there's always something. But that's just part of the business. So as a leader, make sure to not let it get to you like that. Okay? And certainly not to let anybody else know that it did get to you if it did. All right, number 7, big one. Firm faith in yourself, your industry, your company, and your product. Think about a table. Yes, they have those tables, those little ones that are round at the top and they have the three legs that come out. You can't set anything heavier than a phone book on those things. They're worthless. But if you had one more leg of that chair, it would be perfect. A firm table, chair, whatever, 4 legs. A firm business, 4 legs. Faith in yourself. You have to believe that you are not only capable, but that you are deserving of everything that this business has to offer. Your industry, if you are not completely head over heels in love with direct sales to the point that you want to just burst with excitement, research it. The thing is, the statistics for direct sales are mind-blowing. It is the greatest industry in the world. Look at what it has done for people, how it has stimulated our economy, what happens in a recession while other companies are closing, we're booming. The simple fact that we reward you for helping and doing good for other people while corporate America, penalizes or people lose their job or whatever. I mean, there's so much good. You should be totally, totally in love with the direct sales and multi-level marketing industry. Your company should believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, even when things are going wrong, even when you don't agree with them. I remember when my corporate office discontinued literally 80% of my demo. I felt like I had to start all over again. However, my team had no idea. For instance, that's a good example. So I get a letter one day in the email that says, this is what's being discontinued. And it was literally like 80% of what I showed. So my entire demo was thrown out the door, what I had been doing for years. And not to mention all the stock that I had on hand, all the, whatever, done. And in 2 weeks, like there was not even a warning. And I could have, and many people did, get livid over that. I took the high road and I said, oh my gosh, can you imagine what is coming next? Because if they are ditching all of this stuff that we know is phenomenal, imagine what is coming next. And I got my team all fired up and excited about what was coming next and took all of the heat off of what was being discontinued. And I did that because even though I had no idea what was coming next, I believed in my company. And I knew if they were going to discontinue all of that great stuff, they had to have something really remarkable coming in behind it. That's where that firm faith in the company comes from. And then, of course, firm faith in your product. You have to be a product of the product. You have to love it. Either, wear it, use it, eat it, whatever your, thing is, carry it, whatever your industry is, burn it, if you're a candle person, whatever it is, you have to love your product because that's going to come through in every sale that you make and in every time you do a party or anything. So having a firm faith in all 4 of those gives you that solid foundation. Number 8 is to not take it personal. So like we've talked about, this business is not all sunshine and roses and bluebirds and unicorns and rainbows and, whatever. It's not. I'm not, some days are. Yeah, some days are fantastic. Some days, not so much. Some days, your team will think that you are the greatest woman on the planet. Some days, not so much. You have to realize that most of the time, they're mad at somebody else. But when that shipping delay went on, like I said, I handled my team by not dumping down, by, saying, hey guys, let's all make a call to our people who have had things on back order for 6 weeks, let them know we haven't, forgotten about them or whatever. They were mad at me. They vented at me. They called me. As a leader, I got to hear all of their frustrations all day, every day. But I knew even though they were yelling to me, they weren't yelling at me. So you have to remember that, and you have to have that thick skin. It is hard, okay? There were days that I cried and got frustrated and whatever, but I knew it wasn't me. I wasn't crying because they hurt me. I was crying because I was frustrated for them and I was helpless. But what I realized is that I could help them by being strong and by coaching them through it and by being the leader that they needed at that time. So don't take things personal. Even if people come after you, 90% of the time, they're mad at somebody else. They're mad at another circumstance or situation or whatever. So you have to just let it roll off your skin. You've got to have a thick skin and not let that negativity get to you, because it'll wear on you after a while. And really, it doesn't belong to you. So make sure that you are not taking it personally. Number 9 is to not try to motivate. You have to instead inspire. There's this huge misconception that you can motivate people. You absolutely cannot. Motivation comes from within. So you, as the leader, have to inspire them. And the way that you do that is to live the life that you want, to show that dreams can be reality, to show that even if the only money you're making right now is enough to get a pedicure, that you're sharing that you're getting that pedicure. That was my thing. In the very beginning, I had a job that paid me very, very well. Not like outstanding $250,000 money, but I mean, it was, it was good money for Pensacola. Yeah, I made great money. So I wasn't looking to get in the business for extra money. I wanted some time away. I wanted to be able to buy my own product, and I wanted some fun, mad money or whatever. So when I first got started, I was happy just being able to get a pedicure every 2 weeks. But when I did, I shared that. I shared that I was going for a pedicure. And in fact, when I started recruiting, I started inviting people to go with me. That kind of thing. It was about inspiring them. I can't motivate them, but I can say, hey, look, because of the party that I did this weekend, this is what I'm getting to do now. Because of recruiting you guys, this is what I'm getting to do now. That kind of thing. That type of inspiration is way more important than motivating. Motivation comes from within. And then number 10 is to have a genuine passion for other people's success. In this business, it is not about you. And the best way that you can be a great leader is to be all about them. The reason why I love, love, love leadership is because I got to love on people and help them achieve their dreams. I have a genuine passion to help other people achieve their dreams. It's why I went into coaching when I got out of doing parties. I have a genuine passion. You can't be worried about paying your bills. You want to pay your bills, you help other people pay theirs. The way that this industry is built, if you help other people pay theirs, yours will be paid. That is one of the things, when we go back to having a firm faith in the industry, that is one of the things that is beautiful about this business and is so important. But in your heart of hearts, to be a great leader, you have to have a genuine, heartfelt, every day, all day, every day passion to help others succeed. And when you do, that is the only way that you're going to achieve your success. It's the way that it is built. If you are struggling right now, struggling to grow, take your eyes off of your goals for just a minute and focus on other people's. When you start focusing on your downline's goals, that's when suddenly your goals will show up. So I have a couple little, I love this. My Taylor actually collects penguins, so she found this one for me. It says, the leader always sets the trail for others to follow. That goes back to our walking the walk, talking the talk, and being assertive. This one was cute. It says, a great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position. This is important. I want you guys to get this, because whether you have one person on your team or 1,000 people on your team, doesn't matter. Your passion should be the same either way. Your passion to help others, your passion to grow, your passion to help other people grow comes from passion, not position. I don't care if you have anybody on your team yet. You can start doing leadership development, team development, stuff like that right now. Leadership is the absolute most rewarding part of this entire industry. Yes, parties are fun. Yes, I love hostess coaching. Yes, I loved being the party girl and all that kind of stuff. But leadership is what made me grow as a person, grow financially, grow all of that stuff. It was all about leadership. So being a successful leader, it's a state of mind, a level of integrity, and a lifestyle with the ultimate rewards.